Okay, so you're looking for that perfect fall flavor, but you want to be able to do it quick.
Well, Chef Gretchen Hanson with Hobo's is joining us today with just the trick for your treat. Thanks for joining us. So what are we making?
You're so welcome. So we're making a roasted cauliflower soup, and we're doing a rice pudding, but we're jazzing it up a little bit. So we're going to start and show you how quickly you can do this.
But first, let's go through the ingredients.
So the ingredients for the roasted cauliflower soup, we're going to use pears, we're going to use peppers, we're going to use cauliflower. We could be using onions, and we could be using carrots. It really doesn't matter as long as they're roasted vegetables. We're going to add a little bit of cream, a little bit of cheddar, and a little bit of veg stock, and that's it. And then for our rice pudding, we're going to have some sexy little spices in here: cinnamon sticks, star anise, cloves, some jaggery powder, which is an interesting and different type of sweetener, some agave nectar, mission figs, vanilla, and sushi rice.
Okay.
So we're going to put some oil in this really quickly because it's starting to smoke. So what I want you to do is to caramelize your peppers and your pears over here.
So do I put them all in here?
You just go ahead and put them all in there, and we're going to start cooking them up. And you over here are going to start adding your cream into this pot.
Is this going to explode on me or anything?
Probably.
Oh, thanks for telling me until I
You're
started
so
there.
welcome. So what's so exciting about this rice pudding is we're infusing the flavors. This is a cinnamon stick, a whole one. You're used to seeing ground cinnamon, but this is a whole cinnamon stick. This is star anise. This is my favorite one of all. And then there's some cloves, and we're just going to go ahead and throw those into our cream and let those simmer away.
Let them go, okay.
There you go. Now normally what I do is let these go for a little while before I start adding the sweeteners, but you can do this all at once. It doesn't have to be done separately. Normally I would skim these out and then add the sweeteners and the dried fruits. But let's just go ahead and chop up these mission figs, add our vanilla, add our jaggery, add our agave nectar, and see how this is already beginning to bubble up. We're going to actually even turn that down a little bit because it's starting to infuse. And over here, what you've got is the beginning of caramelization.
Okay.
This is where the sugar pops in your soup. So we have a roasted cauliflower over here that's a completely roasted head, and now you're caramelizing these pears and peppers.
Okay.
Throw this into here.
All right.
I would just like to say thank you real quick for trusting me with something sharp.
I know how much you like that. So we're going to add the figs in here, and then the agave and the jaggery powder. Now, jaggery powder is an Indian sweetener and has a really deep caramel flavor. That's why I love it for rice pudding, because it's a flavor that you don't get with typical rice pudding. It's like very, very fall, autumnish. It just screams, have a wood fire and snuggle me in front of it. That's what it screams.
Ready to go in?
Ready to go in. Throw it in there. And then you can throw these two in here as well as the vanilla. And you can start adding the cream, the vegetable base, and the water for the vegetable base. And these are going to simmer up.
And quiet down.
And quiet down. There you go. There's the vegetable base.
Okay.
You did want me to put all that in, right?
I did, yeah, absolutely. And then the vanilla.
See, you've seen me do this before, haven't
I
you?
have. Now, what, it's going to have a little cauliflower flavor to it, but that's just fine. So what we're going to do eventually, we're not going to do it right now, is we're going to add the rice to this, but we're going to steam it first. And watching rice steam is like basically watching water boil. The difference is we're using a sushi rice. And the reason I love sushi rice for this is it's a short grain rice. You can see how short those grains are on there. And it's filled with starch. So your normal long grain white rice doesn't give that same starchy, sticky, sweet flavor at the end of it. It all glues together and becomes like that rice pudding. Now we're going to let this simmer away.
Well, while we do that, I'll let everyone know if you want this recipe or both of these recipes, you can send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to 1729 North Salisbury Boulevard, Salisbury, Maryland 21801. You can also go to WBOC.com and click on our picture at the top of the page, or call us at 443-880-9116.
I thought I'd finish this up real quick.
Yeah, I finished up my soup here too.
Very, very amazing, you two. In fact, you're hired. So here's your Indonesian rice pudding. And you see how deep it gets with the different dried fruits. Now I add figs and dates and plums and prunes to this, and raisins and all sorts of things. But this will simmer and get very dark, and then everything sort of sticks and melts together. And this I just pulsed in a food processor for a couple seconds, and that's all you need to do. You don't need a thickener, so it's gluten-free. In fact, both of these are gluten-free.
How about that?
Which is amazing. You know, really, it's going to take another 20 minutes to finish these properly. Max, maybe 15.
Okay, still not long.
I usually start this rice in the steamer, do this, dump everything together, whip it up, and it's done. It's a 20-minute meal. Now, you do have something here that we didn't make today, and that's a togarashi tuna salad, but you know I brought that to you just because I know how much you like it.
Nice.
So it was just a little show-off thing. I know.
I'm going to go ahead and try this cauliflower soup.
First, thank you so much for coming in and showing us this.
My pleasure, absolutely. It's
That's
such,
good. That'll be a hit in my house. I know
it's
for
such
sure.
a good
You
fall.
don't want that? You don't want that?
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
This one's my favorite.
That is awesome.
Isn't that incredible?
Oh, the flavors.
Right,
to
it
say
just
that
pops. That's
not-
star anise.
I'm not a big rice pudding fan. This is terrific.
It's
That's
all
amazing,
terrific.
isn't it?
Thank you,
Yeah,
Gretchen,
you're so welcome. My
much.
pleasure. Anytime.
And as we scarf down this food, let's get our last clue in today's search for Striker.
What's it going to be, Sean? We're hoping this clue's a little more helpful than the last two.
Hey, Jimmy, my first two clues were good. My third, it's even great. Because of this town's excellent railroad facilities, its motto is on track since 1892. If that doesn't give it away, frankly, I don't know what will. Up next, it's the big reveal. Delmarva Life. We'll be right back.